You guys, we are back with another one of our podcasts. This one I'm stoked about. I mean, I'm always having fun with this, but this is an old pal of mine. My buddy, we nicknamed him recently the Wolf.
The Wolf.
Out at Sturgis. But this is my friend Geoff Reeves, and I know Geoff Reeves initially as a professional race car driver, then found out he was a Navy SEAL. Which, you know, you gotta pause when
we
you
gotta touch on that one a little bit. I think we gotta dive into that.
But then all the other things. So we're gonna, you guys hang tight here because this is gonna be a fun ride. I promise you. Because Geoff's got some stories. A lot of them he can't tell, but there's some that he can. So let's. I want to do this one though because it's really funny to me. Sure. When you and I first met. So Geoff we're out at the racetrack. You know, I was working with my brother on the different races and stuff during Pirelli World Challenge. And I see this guy, fairly imposing character, big fucking guy that looks, you know, hate to admit it, but really good looking dude. And,
always looking at the male physique.
But he wears these really funny socks because he's always wearing shorts and socks that come up to almost to his knees.
The higher the sock, the downer the foo. You know the saying.
But like cuckoo, like bonkers looking socks. And so one day, me being me, walks over and's like, "What up with the socks, dude?"
Yeah, it was man. I was definitely a character amongst the paddock. I mean, flat brimmed hat. I usually would wear like my race team tee, shorts. And then the socks be pulled up with the sneakers on. And so those were actually not just for look. Those were actually just because of an accident that I had when I was in the military. I ended up crushing both my heels on a skydive.
Way to bring up the socks, Sean.
Now you're
so
the level of moron that I felt when Geoff started to explain to me what his background was, you know, being in the military. Oh, you were in the military. And then, you know, he takes him a second to get down to the, yeah, I was a SEAL and it was a parachuting accident. Would your chute folded at what, 50 feet off the ground, something like that?
So the skydive itself was great. It was the landing that last little bit that didn't go so well. We jumped out of the plane at 13,500 feet, and at the time I was on a demonstration team, and so we were considered like the Blue Angels, but with parachutes. So I was the officer in charge of the Navy Leapfrogs, based out of San Diego, California, and our job was just like the Blue Angels is to spread goodwill and to promote naval special warfare and the Navy to. I mean, we jumped into high schools, horse races, NASCAR events, Major League Baseball games, NFL games, X Games, all across the country. So it's funny. When we go to a stadium now, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that looks like coming in from the sky.
Dang.
Right. And so we would land, on the 50-yard line. We'd land in the middle of the outfield, and we would deliver game balls, et cetera, stuff like that. And we were on a training day down in San Diego. Jumped out of the plane. We were doing our routine, which is usually we take our parachutes, we put them right into the back of each other. We're grabbing onto each other. We're like doing aerobatics with parachutes, basically. And the winds were out of a different direction, and it wasn't our usual setup, but no big deal. Anytime we go to an event, it's a difficult entry into it usually because of all the structures and whatnot. So just put it on the tee. And as we came in, the winds were out of one direction. And as I was getting closer to it, I was on a bigger parachute than some of the other guys. And I was coming down to land, and I noticed there was a telephone line across where I had to cross that in order to get to the landing zone. And I didn't know if I was going to make it. I'm like, you know what? I do not want to be that guy that gets hung up on that. It's just go left, land in the parking lot next to it. All good. And as I did that, mind you, I'm like coming down. There's no pause button. There's no, I'm going to wait for this car to clear. It's just like, okay, now what's my decision? Okay, it's not working out. What's my decision? So I was coming into a parking lot, and 4 cars started moving around in the parking lot with light poles and everything else. When was the last time you were driving your car looking up for skydivers?
I was about to say, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I didn't want to be a quarter to it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to go over here. And mind you, it's like 500, 400, 300 feet coming in. And so I ended up landing on the tarmac side of this 1-story structure that was an old tower, but is now a restaurant. And as I came in on the back side of it, on the tarmac side, I did not see the turboprop plane that was on just about to taxi out. So as the winds were hitting the front side of the building, they were pushing down on the back side, which then as I came into that tacoed my parachute, just center punched it, it folded up. And the fact that I was coming in behind this twin turboprop plane that was on, I had no air. It's like going into a vacuum because of the turbulent air coming through the turboprops. So once it tacoed, just right into the ground. And when you scout them, when you come in, you what's called like you change your attitude of your parachute. You take your front risers and you pull them down to change the attack angle to gain speed. So you let them up, and then you go to your brakes, and that gives you a nice soft flare, like stepping off of one step onto the ground.
Wow.
And so your normal drive in the parachute is already 18 knots. When you change that attack angle, now you're doing 25 knots, 27 knots as you're coming in to gain speed to lift up. Yeah, but there was no wind for me to flare on, so I gained all that speed and just kept going right into the ground.
Wow, dude.
So from about 30 feet up, it was about 30 mile an hour impact. And so right foot, left foot hit, crushed my right heel, crushed my left heel, plates and screws. I have a plate and screws in my right foot, screws in my left foot. And I remember I hit so hard, like it just took everything out of me. I hit, slid on the ground, slid onto my back. So like my whole side of my back had a road rash on it. Oh. The container was all destroyed. And I felt my parachute dancing behind me because of the air that was coming through the props. And I've been drugged down runways before on static line out on Aberdeen, out in Maryland for military jumps. And I'm like, I couldn't even undo a simple strap through my chest strap to take it off. This pilot comes running up to me. I remember looking up and I'm seeing like NJ983 or whatever was the tail number on this plane because I'm underneath the back of the plane. And this pilot comes running up to me. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And the only thing I could say was, get my corpsman. And he runs over. He tells the plane, he's like, shut it down. So he shuts off the plane. He's like, I saw you didn't do anything wrong. Like it just didn't happen. And eventually, so our SOP was that everybody lands on target, we get full head count, and then the corpsman starts looking for the lost jumper. And then he eventually came over, and his name is Jay Sartoris. He was awesome. He ended up becoming an LA County firefighter, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Or I think it was LA County, but he's in Los Angeles being a firefighter, and he just got right to work and owe him a lot. Everybody in that process, I owe him a lot. I owe my doctor, Paul Gerard, a lot. I owe our the rehab guys, Kirk Roper and Jason Jadju. I owe those guys a lot for getting me back up because I was 26 years old, and 24 hours after that happened, they looked at me and said, you may never walk again.
Wow, bro.
And I just did not, I didn't comprehend that.
And at this point, you're still you're still teams at that point?
Yeah.
You are.
So I was the officer in charge.
When did you become a SEAL, Geoff? How old were you?
It was in 2000, so I was 22.
Jeez, that's crazy to go through, bud.
So, excuse me. So in 2000, I graduated college, ended up going to OCS. 2001, January 7th, 2001, I walked across the Bud's quarterdeck, ended up going through Hell Week, March 4th through 9th. That's when our OIC died during Hell Week, which was a whole thing. And then... so yeah, I was 22, 23.
What did you say died during Hell Week?
My officer in charge of our class 235, Lieutenant John Scott. Wow. This is a dude that I remember seeing him for the first time. It was we were on the compound, and everybody was like, oh, like the OIC just showed up. I'm like, okay. And being an officer, I'm going to have direct contact with him. So I'm like, I want to see who this dude is. I remember coming out the door, turning around and looking down the passageway. And he was talk about imposing guy, barrel chested. He's a square lantern jaw.
Fucking unit, huh?
He was, I'm like, okay, yeah. And he was an intel officer over at SEAL Team 1 that finally got the ability to come over and try out for Buds.
Wow.
And he ended up drowning in the pool.
Yeah, I feel like you can only look like that if you become a Navy SEAL. There's no workout routine you can do, no food you can eat. You just gotta be a Navy SEAL, and that's how you look. You get that jaw and those shoulders and that chest and that attitude, you know? Even when you walk into a place, I go, holy shit, this guy's in the room, you know what I mean?
Why do you think we call him the Wolf?
He's the Wolf, you know? There's aura that comes into the place.
There's not many people that make me feel small. And then there's your brother.
Yeah. Like, my brother's a big kid, for sure.
Big kid, that's a good word.
Big dude.
Yeah. It was funny, so we're at Sturgis together. I think I told you this maybe.
Oh, this is a good story, I think.
We're at Sturgis together. And Geoff, we call him the Wolf now because we were like a wolf pack, right? And Geoff never stops watching. It's like, it's obviously it's in your training, it's in your blood, it's the way you are. So one of the nights,
I got to hear this from your perspective.
because we were fairly mild on drinking this trip, honestly.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
were.
there was no real goofball nights except this night. And I was fairly tore up, I'll admit. We were at that Jack Daniels bar. I remember
always
there's
a
the
good
live
time.
music. We're having a great time. So I wander up to the bar to get drinks. You know, for our whole crew, I got like a bucket of Coronas and I've got shots. I think I don't even remember, but I remember grabbing a bunch of stuff. And I remember Geoff walking over and go, "Everything okay here? Everything okay here?" To the guys next to me. And I'm like, "Yeah, we're all good. What's up?" I just didn't like the way these guys are looking at you. This is my, I have a recollection, something like that. Now I'm a little foggy on it because I had drank a few that night, you know, and we wander back over and have a great time. So here's the part that cracks me up. I told Kyle the story. He's like, "Dude, it's probably a couple guys that know the YouTube channel and they probably wanted to figure out how to say hello."
Jeff's over here going, "What the fuck? Who's your fucking problem, brother?"
You know,
You scared him off, dude. Like, "Oh, we can't talk to Sean. No
Wow.
picture with Sean."
sorry about that. It's just one of those things I remember, especially in an environment like that. Because I mean, we had our girls with us, and
Yep.
it's just, you know, a couple drinks and everybody wants to feel their alcohol and feel their beer muscles.
Right.
And, you know, you get protective of your women that are around you and in your tribe.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's how I look at it, man. Like,
Yep.
it's our tribe.
Can you imagine they're watching the podcast right now and they see this is our next guest? It's him.
And it's funny. I just remember looking back over at the bar and seeing that. And I'm like,
What did you pick up on that made you?
you know, a lot of it's body language that people, and it could be like the swarming of, and of course you're at a bar, right? There's a lot of people are going to be swarming around you.
Yeah.
And it's at the same time, I'm like, oh, well, one of our persons over there and he doesn't have anybody with him. And there's a lot of people around him. And it's just like how their people are shifting or how they're looking or they're talking or they're kind of pointing at him. And it's like, don't like that. So
Yeah.
just walk over and it's like, he's not alone. I don't want,
Yeah.
I want them to know that he's not alone.
Yeah.
It's something though. I tell you what, because we, you know, obviously we all have friends. We all go out and do things, and with you, it's really a trip, dude. Honestly, I know we go out with you, everything's good. Just really, because I, you know, I mean, fuck, dude, you've told me some good stories. There's a lot of stuff I know you're never allowed to talk about, you know, but there's been some, just the idea. Because nobody ever knew what it was to be a SEAL. You know, we've heard that term our whole.
Now it's everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Is that we
There is one YouTube video
was
that
a term.
shows.
It was a term that we heard for so many years. I mean, I'm turning fucking 60 years old this weekend, so it's like
Now you look good, man.
it's a term. Thank you, but it's a term I've heard my whole life. But in recent years, a lot of people are very public about having been a SEAL. It's made it into movie. I mean, I remember watching the beginning of Lone Survivor. You're like,
Great
holy crap,
movie.
that's what Jeff went through.
Aren't you in that movie?
So no, Lone Survivor, I'm not.
Oh,
But-
it's Scott Elrod. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny because so what you saw at the beginning of that movie was actually one of my best friends. His name is Travis Lively. He's the bald-headed guy, and he's in class 234, and they pulled a lot of that footage from that. But yeah, that's what we went through.
Yeah,
The one where they're saying what's 6 times 3 or whatever.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
stumbling in the wall. Yeah.
Oh, I remember. So I remember the first time we did a surf torture with the I mean, that's what we call it because that's what it is, and that's what it was called back before everything got PC. But like
PC.
surf torture, like you're sitting there, you lock arms, and you're nothing in but like a t-shirt, your overall cami jacket, your cami pants, boots, and socks. That's all you're wearing.
Soaked.
And you just walk right in, up to your knees, lock arms, lay down, and just let the water crash right over you. And at the time, I'm sure there's a whole time limit, water temperature calculation. But you don't know what it is, and it just feels like forever.
Yeah.
And so you sit there, and they're like, you know, after they heckle you and make fun of you, and the waves are crashing. I mean, you got seashells and sand and algae going down your ass, up your nose, down your mouth. It's in your ears. You can't rub the salt water out of your eyes and all that. And then you get back up, you walk out, and you sit there, and then the wind starts blowing.
The wind is worse, huh?
And we're talking January, February,
Yeah.
March.
Jeez.
And like one of the coldest I've ever been is in San Diego, California. And I lived in snow caves in Slovenia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then they're like, okay, back in. You go back in and do it again. Back out, back in, come out.
I
And
can't
then,
believe you went through all that, bro.
then I remember the first time that they came with med checks and you see like a pen light and they look in the people's eyes and to see if your eyes are dilating and they ask you your name, where you're from, where, you know, who's the president, all this. And I remember the first, like, they were down to my right and they just like, what day is it? And the kids,
shit.
And I remember like, oh, this is just like this is like what I've seen.
This guy's excited about it.
He's all fired up.
It's funny.
But did that guy make it through? Did he
I don't
become
remember who it was.
Okay, gotcha.
No. I mean,
gotcha.
and to be honest, like, so I was the admin officer of my class, and at one time I think we started with like 134 kids. At some point in time, there were 160 attached to us with the rollbacks, and by the time it was all done, 21 originals of the 134 were there, and 29 total graduated, to include some of those rollbacks.
But that's incredible, dude, to think of that many people don't make. What'd you say? It's about 20% of people make it. Less than 20%.
Yeah. And nothing against those guys. They're probably hard motherfuckers. They just didn't make it through that mental capacity or whatever.
People could show up and not know what they're getting in for. They think they trained enough. They didn't train enough. Anything, right? Then some of it's luck. Like I remember there's a guy in one of the boat crews, and like boat crews all get shuffled, but I remember in the beginning when you do log PT, and you're sitting there and you're lifting log from shoulder to shoulder down on the ground, and there's a technique to do it so you don't blow your back out. Everybody's got to be in the right time. You're lifting over your head, you go throw the log in the ocean, get a nice all water logged, come back out, do it again, and if you screw up, then you go over to Old Misery. And
I've heard, yeah.
I had to move that into position once.
Wow.
To get ready for log PT. I came back to my boat crew. I'm like, we are never touching that thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how bad it hurts, put out. But there was a kid in the, I remember in one of the boat crews that he was like second to last. And the guy in the very end took one rep off. And when, they went to go lift it up, all that weight came back and it slipped through the dude's hands, hit him on the head, and it hurt his spine. Gone.
Done.
Yeah.
So it's like just because that dude took that rep off in the back, didn't put out.
He could have made it through, but he fucked up.
You never know, right? You never know.
That's why I say when we're out with Geoff somewhere, knowing a fraction of what this guy's gone through and guys like you're okay, And the funny part was with the wolf, that same trip was one of the guys, our friend Chris Baker, bailed early one night. Didn't say anything to Geoff that he was taking off.
Chasing some tail.
You should have seen this guy. He was like a little bent out of shape about it. It's like, wait, I got my eye on the whole pack here, and one of you guys, I thought you went off maybe to the restroom or so. I don't know what you thought.
He already called him fucking UAV.
He just disappeared.
Well, it's just like you always have accountability of your men, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing going back to buds. It's like you want to, especially when you're out and about, if one dude takes off, okay, just let us know. That's all it is. Just don't. What do they call it? Irish goodbye or Italian goodbye?
Irish goodbye. I'm really good at
Irish
those.
goodbyes.
I'm really good at those. Yeah.
Not
it's
good.
like, no, man, because especially in that town, because there's so many people, there's so many different things, and it's like
there is.
You just want to make sure you and your crew have a good time. I mean, by
totally.
no means am I babysitting.
No,
but
far
it's just
from it.
like, just accountability.
Just an eye on everyone.
Yeah, if you want to go back, hey man, kick it, go back.
Yeah,
But
totally.
then just let us know, just so I don't have to sit there and go wonder like, oh God, where'd he go?
You chew him out for it or what?
No,
No, you're not his dad.
No.
I'm not your parent.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I got chewed out by fucking Mr. Reeves.
Oh, you got to
here.
tell this one. This is good.
When did I do
Not
that?
at Sturgis.
Oh, okay.
When I did your, is it Go Ruck?
Oh yeah. So the firearms training, yeah.
So the, going back to that story, I know you guys have heard it when I got broken into here and I wanted to get a gun. I've never owned a gun before. So I called Geoff up and I was like, I don't want to be a bad gun owner. Hey dude, I have a training going on this weekend.
Perfect.
In Vegas, 115, 117 degrees. Come on out. Let's do this. You can stay at my house. Like fucking rad. I'm going to have a fun, chill weekend with my friend Geoff, which he's Geoff all the way. Until it's go time.
Yeah.
And as
He
soon as
locks
it's
in.
go time, he is definitely, his training kicks in.
The wolf comes out.
Yeah. So I'm standing there early on, like I think it's day one.
Yep.
And I'm the only guy that has no experience. All these other guys that were there, as far as I could tell, were all experienced with weapons,
To some degree.
Yeah, to some degree, way more than I was.
You also had a shift in ideology, so that's why you were late to the party and all this.
Yeah. Oh, big shift. Fucking A. Yeah. So the first thing we did day one is literally put a magazine in, and I'll never call it a clip again, by the way, because I learned that from Geoff. And so I put, it's put the mag in, rack your weapon, drop your magazine, clear your weapon so that it's now, as Geoff calls it, a paperweight. And I think we did that 100 times before we even move on.
It's like you just
to get the repetition.
Of it. Once you learn how to load and make ready your rifle, and then also you know how to clear and safe it. And that's just got to be second nature. Because once we've got rolling in the training, I mean, I'm watching, but I need you just to be able to do it.
And you're moving, dude. So there was one point, I can't remember exactly what the question was that I had, but I had a question for Geoff as I'm sitting there holding my pistol like this.
Oh no.
And Geoff fucking full on went into the scariest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life.
What did he say to you?
I do not remember because I was
It was just volume 12 loud noises in your face.
Yeah, because you think about it, right? What I was doing was actually highly dangerous. I have a loaded weapon in my hand and I'm holding it, pointing it right at his face, not even thinking about that I'm holding a loaded weapon because I'm not used to this. It's brand new stuff to me, and it made it very clear to me. I mean, I still, I know I've told you this before, but my Glock's over here somewhere. I will still pull my weapon out. I'll rack it. I'll drop the magazine. I'll clear it. I'll do it a few times just so it's there, So if I need to, it's just there as a habit. But it was funny as hell because scared the fuck out of me.
That's good. That's what he wanted to do.
We redirected the weapon very quickly.
You rewired his brain
and made sure that the moment was a teachable moment.
It was teachable.
It was very much so. And then by the end of the day, as we're going back to his house, it's just good old Geoff. It's my pal
with a little
Geoff,
tear rolling down your face,
hanging out. Everything was back to how it was, but it was good because I think anyone,
like,
I got to be honest, anyone that's going to fuck around with a weapon, you better take it seriously.
Yeah.
You better know what the fuck you're dealing with because I think that's why I did that training. I didn't want to be a bad gun owner, and I'm not.
And then we had rifles that we played with the next day.
That was
fun.
rad.
And that was So
that was so good.
It's always fun to hear other people tell the story, but there was one where we were doing IAD. Like by the end of the day, the class was progressing really well. By the end of the day, we're doing IADs, immediate action drills. So half the class would move back. They'd call, they'd lay down cover fire while the other group would be, I'm up, they see me, I'm down. And then they would just do that back down the range. And as he's saying, it was over 100 degrees and you've got brass on the ground, which gets hot in the sun. You've got rocks on the ground that are sharp and you got, and you got people that are crouching down that are like, oh, this is uncomfortable. And I had enough of that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
fucking let them know.
I mean, put your head on get your body flat, put your toes out to the side, get your heels down, get behind that rifle and start laying, providing cover fire. I don't care how bad it sucks. And it's like the first time a bullet cracks over your head, you're gonna be making love to that ground. You don't want to be getting into it.
Dude, it sounds like my brother right now.
And you got fire coming right. This is live rounds coming whizzing right by you.
Well, I mean, they weren't by you; they were next to you.
But for a guy like me, right, who's never been there, or done that before, it's like as if it's whizzing right past your ear.
Sean was at war, bro. This was his battlefront, dude.
But it was. I tell you what, any of you guys, anyone that's into doing firearm kind of training and stuff, fucking do this. It is. I mean, it's intense. It's highly intense, but it's extraordinarily fun. I mean, and you walk out of there. I mean, I'm clear walking out of there. I ain't a fucking SEAL. I ain't a proficient.
But you put your head up a little higher. You had your shoulders kicked back.
Well, you just look around. Look around a little differently. You know, like he got me in the mode. I mean, I tell you what. I'll walk in a restaurant, just sit down. I'll look around. I never used to do that before. I walk in, who gives a fuck what's going on here? I'm good.
I always look for the exits and shit too. I'm like, worst case scenario, what do I do to get out of here?
I do that.
Worst case scenario, where do you sit inside the restaurant? Where's all that stuff?
Yeah, keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, I pick my seat. Pauline knows now with me. No, I won't sit there. I got to sit over here.
Even watch how do the waiters or waitresses go to the kitchen, because sometimes that'll be your best out. That'll be your best out.
Yeah.
Just because if the bad guys are coming through the front door,
there's probably also an exit in the kitchen somewhere too for them to get out of. So run to the kitchen.
There's another story I want to touch on though with you, dude, because I remember that weekend you telling me a story about I don't know if this is during Bud's training or this is you're now a SEAL and you're training for, just doing your trainings, but something about when you fell down into a hole with all the
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Look at you see his eyes.
Man, yeah,
But it's a great story, dude.
So it was I was at the end of Buds, and we go out to the island, and San Clemente Island, and they say it's there where they can't hear you scream, kind of thing. And that's true, because it's the last 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks, and you're out there, and you're not familiar with it. You move all your stuff in, and it was San Clemente and Catalina Island are out there.
Yeah.
And so in August is when we were out there, and so we landed on the jet, we unloaded everything into the camp, and they're like, okay, cool. And just to give you an idea of what it's like when you're out there, it's like, cool, go get your rubber on and go get your flares and all that, because we got a 2-mile swim we got to do as soon as you get there. So night's falling, and we get on a bus, go down, and in between Catalina and San Clemente, that's great white breeding ground.
Fuck yeah.
And they're like, cool, get in the water, 2-mile ocean swim.
I'm good.
And so
I'm not doing that.
There's seaweed coming up. There's sea lions all around there, which is, sharks' favorite thing to eat. And so you got to go 2 miles, and you have nothing but a chem light on your back of your mask, and your flare on you, and you're with your swim buddy, and you're just
You're floating in space at that point.
And so you do your 2 miles and go all the way around. And that was like, okay, welcome. And this is after they showed you one of those hour-long time life videos
sharks,
of like shark attacks.
Yeah, fuck
so you see them playing with sea lions and tossing them in the surf.
It's a mental fuckery.
Oh, totally. And it's yeah.
See, but what happens if someone actually gets bitten by a shark out there? Do they just become like an honorary SEAL at that point?
No, they didn't make it.
Oh, bro, that's crazy, dude.
Weak genes, I guess.
Hey, bad luck, bro.
So the story you're talking about is one of the final week. You're out there and you've got to do land navigation to these different points, and they grade you pretty much, and it's a whole heck of a week. But so I was the OIC, and we led the squad into a position, and there's these 2 half crescent moons that are in the earth, and we were to set up in one and look at a target. And we what I didn't know, or we eventually, because you're pace counting, you're doing all this stuff, you're up and down all this heavy terrain, and there's you're going through all kinds of cactus and moving around. Anyway, we laid up inside one of these crescent moons, and we're looking at this target, which is this road that we're supposed to be looking for bad guys on. And the instructors are like, what are your coordinates? We're sending our coordinates. And little did we know that they were actually checking those coordinates. We were on the other crescent moon in the earth looking at, and so we were in the wrong one and didn't know that. And so as a teachable moment to us, they said, okay, once they figured out where we were, okay, there's going to be they figured it out, hadn't told us that we were in the wrong area yet. And then they sent a convoy through. So we took pictures, started, doing all the recon stuff that we have to do. And then all of a sudden a follow-on mission came where it's like, okay, now you have to perform an ambush on the convoy. Okay, great. So thinking that we're doing everything right, we come out of our hide sites, creep down, get into a L-shaped ambush, package rolls through, we ambush with blanks onto this target. And as we start going through, doing our data, or doing our collecting and everything else, a second vehicle comes up and they have blanks, and it's one of the instructors, and they just start hammering us. So now we've got to perform immediate action drills to break contact and get out of there. So as we start doing what we're taught to do, we go down to the side of the road, and my one buddy's like, I got the out. So we all start going through what's called like the door. As we go, I'm like the second guy through, and as I come through the out, it was down this gully that we could just disappear down, except this gully has jumping cholla cactus all over it. And as I come through, I hit the brakes with my heels, and it's like that immediate stop didn't work. I lose my balance. Boom, flat out inside this thing, and I can feel all these prickers go into my back, my legs, my arms, everything. And I don't want to move. But yet up above, they're still getting hammered by the instructor with like the blanks from the 60 that he's showing. I'm like, I got to do something. So I've got to press on one side to get myself up, and then you got to move. And I can literally like take my jacket and pull like this and feel the prickers, the needles from the jumping cholla come out of my skin. Like for 6 months, you would just see like my skin pushing out these things. It was awful. Absolutely.
Can you imagine, dude?
Awful.
Showering must have sucked.
I mean, taking off those clothes for the first time must have sucked, because you just sit there and it's like your whole back, legs, everything are just prickers.
But you still got to train and go to work and do the next with all the, bro.
And
no
even in the
excuse.
moment, like
You
I
can't be like,
remember you said, you get yourself out of that setting. You got these needles stuck in you, and now you're getting back on fire.
And like
you
jump
got
and
your
choy would
guys.
go through leather boots. It's like that. So they call it jump and choy because they're like when the ground tremors, they just kind of like boop, come off, and they're awful. They're absolutely awful.
Insane, right?
That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, yeah,
It's terrible.
yeah. It's. Yeah, I get. There's some funny ones with you. Gosh, man, I one of my other favorite ones with Geoff is asking him one time, quietly, just the two of us. I'm like, so, you ever kill anyone?
You pulled the Josh.
It's
That's a stupid question.
but tell me it's not a
Stupid
natural question to ask, right? A guy
I
that's
did ask that
a
question.
guy that's a Navy SEAL.
When the guy who was shot with, and he was the A-10 Warthog pilot.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I asked him.
Yeah.
Josh was like, so you kill anybody?
Badass aircraft.
Yeah.
And I got so
You know
many-
what he said? You know what his answer was to Josh? He's like, not any more than your parents did paying taxes. And I was like, ooh, burn, bro.
Why is that a burn?
That's a great answer.
I don't know. That was a good answer though.
Jeff's answer was even better, though, to me, as I recall. Jeff, I asked him the question. He said, define killing.
Well,
That's a good one. That's a wolf answer.
Because at the time it was really interesting because a lot of people asked the question, and
Of
then
course, I'm
there was
sure.
a time where it was almost like the body count meant if you were a good SEAL or bad SEAL, and it's just like out in public. It was just really getting your head wrapped around it.
Yeah.
And I remember I went up to a buddy of mine who's a team guy, and I respect this guy. He was one of the. I mean, he did 26 years in the military, 20 in the teams, ended up at DevGru.
Wow.
And he's, one of the smartest guys I know. I mean, his stories is hilarious. He was actually enlisted. He was a nuke, and just a nuke. And once you're in that program, you don't leave. And he was a hellion, and his chief wanted to make an example out of him. He's like, oh, you think you're so smart? You think you're so tough? I'm going to send you to Buds. And he's like, what's that? He shows up, and he's like, this is awesome. 20 years
liked
later,
it,
he
yeah.
retires.
No kidding.
So he was like
Wow.
one of the very first SEALs in Afghanistan. He was the longest SEAL in Afghanistan. He wrote SOPs on how to do mission sets and all that.
Wow.
And I asked him, I'm like, because for example, like there's times where like one platoon will go one place, another platoon will go another place, and just opportunity. Right. So one platoon may be getting into firefights every single night, and the other platoon is doing forward internal defense, FID, training other countries. Never had an opportunity. Or it's maybe you go on missions and you're the same, in the same platoon, and one dude just happens to be racking up a body count, and the other one doesn't have the opportunity because his job is different, right? Like if you're a AW gunner, an automatic weapons gunner, well then you should probably putting up a bigger body count than you would the communicator or the OIC because your
count is
body
crazy.
because you're busy either directing or you're busy on the radio talking to fast movers overhead or getting yourself out of there or whatever, call for
Yeah.
fire, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of different things in that.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, how do you answer that question? Because it is an interesting question. Like
I'm
that,
sure,
that one,
dude.
and thank you for your service is also another interesting one to me.
I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
and he goes, well, it's simple. I just look at him, and then so then it's something that I've adopted. It's like if I hadn't killed anybody, would you think any less of me or any different of me? Well, no. If I had killed anybody, would you think any less or any different of me? No. Then what's the matter?
Yeah.
Great answer.
Yeah.
And
Great
the,
answer.
And the other one for like the thank you for your service is, obviously it's like, oh, thank you very much. I used to say like, hey, thanks for paying your taxes. I had fun. And
That's a good one.
there's some truth to that. But then more and more these days, I think it's a better response. And it's almost like, how deep do you want to go is just be somebody that's worth fighting for.
Yeah,
Hell
man.
yeah, brother.
Yeah. That's great, dude.
Live your life in a way that you're worth fighting for.
Yeah. I've heard that one a lot. I've heard because we've shot a lot of videos with guys, former military guys, actually some that are active duty now. And I always see it in the comments at some point because we mention it in the video. It's a natural thing to do. I mean, hell, never being a military guy, I respect the guys that help to provide us with our freedom, obviously. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And as you know, more than ever, how much I respect it, and I always think it's funny when I see that in the comments. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And I know there's good intent behind that, 100%. Right? For sure there is, but it's like, just as weird as it is, like when I think back on ever asking you the question, did you ever kill anyone? What a weird fucking question to ask somebody. I mean, that's just a weird fucking question to ask someone, you know? Like, I would never ask another military guy that since I asked you. Hey, I'm glad we're such good friends.
I mean, if I was tight with someone, I was cool for them. I'd be like, yo, get it off your chest. Let me hear some stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be like, oh, I just met you. You kill anybody?
Yeah.
Stupid.
I knew the answer was yes, bro. Come on, you're flying that thing. You're telling me you haven't done it. Come on,
Dude, the first time I got to play with A-10s, we were doing close air support. It's like I was at communicator school and just learning how to talk to fast movers overhead. And the first day we had F-18s, and there's a specific like sequence of lines that you have to say, and you know where your position is, where the target position is, and it's easy to get. And it's like you're talking like Yoda, so it can easily to get fumbled and mess that all up. And if you screw it up, you got to like it's like cancel whatever it is and start the whole thing over again. Meanwhile, they're just up top burning fuel.
Yeah.
And so the second day the F-18s went away. The second day the A-10s came in, and they were out of a reserve unit, I believe. And it was funny. I remember I was going through the line and I accidentally screwed up, and I'm like, oh man. And the guy goes, dude, don't you worry. What do you see and what do you want me to make disappear?
Damn, dude. That's crazy.
Man, right? Yeah, I'll never forget that dude's voice or what he said. And it was, after that, it was awesome. And man,
So you've heard one of those shoot?
oh, yeah.
How crazy is it?
Chills
to your bones, huh?
just hearing those Rolls Royce engines overhead or hearing that, when that thing takes off. I mean, yeah, it's pretty powerful. I've seen an Apache light off all of its rockets at once.
Wow.
And that is like, wait, what? Seeing those things go off.
4th of July.
Oh, it was, and that was at night, actually. That was at
That's
night. And it was just like,
crazy.
and you just sit there. I remember the first time there was a gunship. We were doing an ambush, and a gunship came over top of. They were running dog bones, going back and forth, and they had a minigun on the side, and just that thing dumping, and it was the brass and the clips or the links were just hitting us in the back of the head. I remember thinking, what the hell is that thing? And thank God it's on our side.
Yeah.
Really. The target was like 50 yards away, 75 yards, and you could feel the impacts on the ground where we were laying.
God, what a
And
way
it
to
was
describe it.
Whoa, awesome.
Crazy.
Awesome.
That's insane.
So okay, so let's. I want to figure out, because I know I've never asked you this, dude. So you get injured.
Yeah.
Now you're no longer able to be active duty. You're done.
After I got injured, my job then became, even though I was still the officer in charge of the team, was rehab. Get back to healthy again.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do. And I mean, I was bedridden for a month. I was in a wheelchair for like a week shy of 4 months. So a wheelchair for almost 4 months. And then I had to learn how to walk again after that. I think it was a year to the date of the accident is when I stood up for the first time. Wow. And that was, the psychology of that was really interesting, because here I am, 6'3", Navy SEAL, world's my oyster kind of thing. Can't do it. Just could do whatever I want, however I want. And literally the next day you're in a wheelchair, and just the way people look at you.
Yeah.
That was difficult. I mean, you're in San Diego. The girls, I was single, actually I was not single at the time, excuse me. I had a wonderful girlfriend that lived up in Orange County who came down every weekend. When I blessed her for doing that, and that helped a lot. I had other friends that stopped by, but it's like, it's a shift all of a sudden of just mental. Oof. Every morning I blasted metal music, mad at the world, mad at everything.
Yeah.
All I could do is play Halo. That's the only Halo 2, great game. It's the only game I've ever finished. Love that game. But yeah, it's just heavy metal music.
What kind of band do you listen to?
At the time, it was Godsmack.
Okay.
That was big in coming out of the military, and blasting that, Metallica, Korn. It just
all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, I realized quickly, I lived alone on the top floor of my apartment building, and I was bedridden, so I couldn't move, couldn't do anything, and being mad at the world. And I was mad at everything. I was mad at babies. I was mad at cats. I didn't care. I was mad at God. I was mad at everything, just because I didn't know what my life was going to be like after this. Because again, the day that it happened, I ran 9 miles in the morning, was on my 4th skydive of the day, and 24 hours later, they're like, you may never walk again.
Wild, dude.
At 26 years old.
God,
and
man.
Like, as a SEAL, you just feel you're invincible anyway. As a young person, you feel invincible. Then you're a SEAL on top of that, and so you're impenetrable.
Sure.
And it's like, what is my life now? How do I deal with this? And so I hated everything and everybody. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself 24 hours. And after that, I can't think about it anymore. So I did it. I was mad at everything and everybody in the world for 24 hours. And then very next day, it's like, okay, you got to shift your focus. You got to be positive. You got to be nice to people. You cannot hold this over anybody. And just that alone, people wanted us to come by. People wanted to help. People wanted to, and I was appreciative of it because, man, there's a lot of things we take for granted. Being able to walk around and do everything. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, dude, seriously. So you recuperate from that. When does the race car driving come into play?
So at the time, well, now that I knew, and when they did the surgery, they scraped out a lot of cartilage out of so I didn't have surgery for 3 weeks on my left foot, for 4 weeks on my right foot after the accident. I was in compression splints because my feet, like from my knees all the way down my legs and through my feet, were all just so swollen. Yeah. So they had to put compression splints on to get a lot of the fluid out before they could operate. And in that time, I was taking Lovenox blood thinner shots to help the coagulation, so my body wouldn't heal itself. When they opened me up and went in, they scraped out a lot of bone fragments and they scraped out a lot of cartilage to replace it. So I don't run anymore as much as I used to. Like, I used to love going for miles at a time running. Now I'll do it to save my life, just because where the plates are, how it healed, the rebound effect of my Achilles tendons and all that other stuff, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I was like, well, I can't do team guy job anymore.
Yeah.
And so I already started to progress in. When my 3 years was up as the OIC, the leapfrogs, okay, now what am I going to do? And it's like, well, I know in my head I can't do the job anymore, so I guess I'm just going to get out. Little did I know, and I learned 10 years later, there's a thing called medical retirement. That's a whole nother thing. Where I should have medically retired, I didn't. And it took me 7 years to get 100% disability out of it with all the different things. And that's a whole nother podcast about VA and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got out of there. I was like, well, I can't do team guy stuff anymore. So what's the next thing you want to do in life? Well, I'm going to get out and I'm going to go pursue LA, because I've always been fascinated with movies and Hollywood and stuff like that. Yeah. At first it was to make the dinosaurs run across the screen, and then slowly became in front of the camera acting. I mean, I used to love, like, you watch like the 1970 original Star Wars and you're like, that was a model. Yeah. Like how they did that seems so real. So that fascinated me. So I ended up doing that. While I was doing that, I was also, in between auditions and in between working in LA, I was representing a car company at the time. I was representing Jaguar back in the day, before they turned to whatever they are now. And
right.
And so representing Jaguar, I worked with amazing people, and I pretty much did the auto show circuit, where I went around the country and represented the brand and help people. Like, just, you go to an auto show, I was one of the dudes standing there to tell you all about the cars. But the guys that I worked with, so I worked with a awesome female named Brandy Lee, Michael Colvin, and Romeo McNary, and myself. And that was like the core four, I'd say. And those guys were so dialed into cars. We would stand there on the show floor, and after we were bored, we'd be like, $1 million and up, what car would you get? And they would name cars. 750 to $1 million, what car would you get? 500 to 750, 250, 500. And they go through these, and they would name some cars. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm looking up what these cars are. And then we go through all these, and I'm like, I don't know, and naming off what I knew.
Yeah.
And then we kind of sit there. $1 million and up used, what would you get? 750 million, what kind of, so I'm like, now we know you have to know used prices on these cars.
Yeah.
And so we really just dialed that in, and I got really interested in cars. I didn't understand cars at all.
Really?
I could look in the sky. I can tell you every military fighter jet, military helicopter, not a problem. Cars, I don't get it.
I had no idea. I just assumed you were cars your whole life.
No, it wasn't until I actually graduated college that with my buddy Tim Wilton, who ended up working for Premier PAG at the time, Premier Automotive Group out in Irvine, and then he ended up going to, he works for Toyota now. We went on a road trip after we graduated college and did a figure eight across the country. That's amazing. My mom calls it the Hooters of America trip. Because in short, we went through 38 different states, visited 18 major cities, went to 16 different Hooters across the country.
Fuck
We got pictures of our waitresses, menu staple. And I have a whole notebook of it. It's amazing.
Oh my God, how funny.
That's awesome.
So I remember being in the car with him, like, all right, dude, teach me. why do you like cars so much? What is it about? And he's like, okay, well, and he starts naming off cars. I'm like, I've never even heard of those. And I'm like, but he goes, yeah, these things around us, these aren't cars, the everyday ones. And then I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm starting to understand. And that was him was actually the introduction to it. Then he just opened up that door. And then so once I got out and started working for Jaguar, working with my friends, and we started doing all that, understanding the cars more and understanding. Then it got to a point where I'm tired of talking about them. I want to start racing them. So in that time, I had met Andy Pilgrim, who raced for Cadillac Racing.
Yeah.
I became good friends with Molly Celine, and then also there's a gentleman that drove the pace car for Long Beach Grand Prix. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name right now. Apologies to him. I'll think of it in a minute. But so I asked them, I'm like, I want to race. How do you do it? And they said, well, you need to go to race school. Well, first of all, they're like, you need to start when you're 4. I'm like, well, it's not going to work, but you need to go to race school. So they named off race schools, and I went to AMG Driving Academy. I went to Bob Bondurant Basic, 4-day Basic, and then their advanced course. And I also went to rally school up at Team O'Neill.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And once I did those, I'm like, okay. And then I went back out to do more advanced racing and another advanced class out of Bondurant just for seat time. At the time, not only was I working in Hollywood, not only was I working the auto show circuit for Jaguar, I was also doing public speaking at the time, talking to companies. Like I went out and I would speak to Aon Insurance. I went and spoke to the Neiman Marcus handbag division. Went and spoke to Rolls-Royce Power. Went and spoke with a couple friends to Washington Redskins. So these D.R. Horton went and spoke to all these companies from bridging the gap between military and business. So teamwork, effective communication, leadership. What does that look like from the military side? What lessons can be learned and taught in business? And there was a gentleman that for one of the companies that I went and spoke to that I had done some personal family work for him in the past that he was very appreciative of. And he's at one of the kind of after parties, the talks. He's like, so how's that whole racing thing going? And I'm like, I would literally go to a school, put the money on the credit card, then go work a job and pay it off. The complete opposite of what I should have done. But, and I would just do that over and over again, trying to get seat time. I would start collecting race gear, helmets, Hansa vices, fire suits. So I was either going to have the most authentic, realistic Halloween costume or it was going to be actually used. And I was like, so when this gentleman asked me the question, I'm like, I'm going to these race schools. I'm putting in seat time. I'm just trying to learn the craft and, eventually try to acquire sponsorship to go out and go race. And I said, I just happened to mention, and, I was told that there's a test this weekend with the Nissan team at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend. And he's like, oh, so we start talking and he's like, well, what else do you want to do? How bad do you want to do this? All this other stuff. And I'm honestly, this is all I want to do right now.
And you're what, 30 years old at this point, somewhere around there? Uh-huh.
And so, and after we start talking, he goes, okay. Not even joking. He reaches in his coat pocket, pulls out a checkbook, writes a check, and goes, go make your dreams come true, kid.
Wow.
And I'm holding this check, and I'm looking at him, and I go, I don't know when I'm going to be able to pay this back. He goes, I don't recall asking you to.
Wow.
Go test, come back and tell me how you did.
Wow.
Lord.
Wow,
and to think
dude.
about that guy took a chance on me and what that chance has done for my life afterwards.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so I call up my then, who became a co-driver, Andy Lee, who was my instructor out at Bondurant. And I'm like, dude, I'm holding a check in my hand right now for this amount of money. Call that team at Nissan or call the Nissan team and find out if we can get into testing at Indianapolis. He's like, oh my gosh. He goes, I didn't expect to hear from you for like 3 years, not 3 weeks.
Crazy.
I'm like, you're wasting time. Call the Nissan team, see if we can still get out there and test with them. He's like, okay, I'm on it. He ended up calling. They had availability. We went out, and Andy's a great coach, great driver. He's a great driver to begin with, great coach. I ended up being 1 second off of him in testing that weekend. I came back. I sat down, I talked to the guy, I called the guy and I said, hey, and he goes, all right, let's meet for lunch. I met him for lunch. And he goes, all right, so what are we doing? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, what are we doing? I was like, And it's like, okay. So that particular year, we raced a couple more. The first time ever in a race car was on Indianapolis Motor Speedway for testing.
What was the car?
It was a Nissan Altima V6 front wheel drive ST class.
Okay.
And then the first time I was ever in a proper race was at Laguna Seca
Wow.
in that car.
2 legendary tracks.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and then we did Barber that year, and then it was the end of the year. So then we re-up for next year, and we did more races the next year. And slowly through that, I started acquiring a little bit more from other people. And but he was my main angel sponsor through that. Then came the opportunity for Andy, who was part of Best IT Racing. Harry Curtin was the owner and also a driver. And Andy comes to me, he's like, hey, Harry's thinking about selling his car. You should buy it, and we should come race in Pirelli World Challenge. Okay.
Was that the Camaro where I met you?
Yep.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. And so I'm like, all right, let me think it over, talk to my sponsors, see what we can do. So I go back and I present the idea to my sponsors, and he goes, well, let's have a chat with them. And it was funny. I'll never forget this. One of the best stories that I think from my racing career is, so we set up the meeting out in Fort Worth, Texas. My main sponsors are there. Harry and the manager from the team all come out, and they go to this old cowboy restaurant out there. And Fort Worth is really interesting. They say Dallas is where the South begins, but Fort Worth is where the West begins. And I mean,
I believe that.
You go out there.
I've been to both.
Yeah. I mean, you go out there and you see some tall, skinny, older gentlemen with cowboy hats and bolas on and, hubcap belt buckles and cowboy boots driving F-250 wides or flare sides. But those dudes are loaded, and they probably got done baling hay that day and everything else themselves.
Yeah.
So they're just, raw power there. And they've got like the Sam Elliott mustaches. It's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
We go out and sit in this restaurant, and in comes the guys representing Best IT, and they're out of Scottsdale, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona. So they're in tech. So they got like the skinny suits, the skinny ties, the pants that go just above with the colored socks.
Right?
Yep, exactly. With the socks, and they all come in, and then you've got these cowboys that are sitting there, and they come down, and so they introduce themselves, and they want to get right into it. And my sponsor's like, hold on a second. Let's talk. So they just start talking. And meanwhile, he turns around to the waiter, and he gets something. And about 5 minutes later, this appetizer shows up. And he goes, there you go.
I know what you're serving up.
He shows up, he goes, please help yourself. And so they're like, okay, great. And I'm sitting there, and I know what the deal is.
You know they're Rocky Mountain oysters,
yes, they
right?
were.
Yes,
and I'm
sir.
sitting there just like watching a tennis match going back and forth. And these cowboys wanted to see if the tech dudes are going to have Rocky Mountain oysters.
Those
You
are
know what
balls.
those are, right?
Cow balls. Yep.
Cow balls.
And it's just such a great subtle flex.
So good.
And to their credit, Barry knew, I think I knew what was up. I don't think Harry did, but
Tastes
anyway,
like chicken, bro. I've had it. It's good.
depending how they're cooked. Yep.
Depending on how they're cooked, you got to fry them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
They
they
got to
take
be
him
deep fried
down.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And then after that, he's like, okay, let's talk. And then after that, it was awesome.
How funny.
That ended up, and that's how I got into Pirelli World Challenge. So we ended up buying the car, and then raced several seasons with it that way.
Yeah.
Moral
Wow.
of the story: don't be picky with food, Josh. Eat whatever. Don't be a pussy.
That's so cool though, dude, because that's where obviously I met you when you were racing in the same series with my brother, same class with and Roger too. Roger was alive then, right?
So Roger was the year before.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the year you were racing with him, Sturks was racing
Correct.
with my brother.
Correct. So I actually met, I was down at Long Beach Grand Prix, and then that's where I met Eric and Roger, and all them were racing the Long Beach Grand Prix, and I was sitting with the Camaro team because I knew where it was going then.
Yeah.
And I look over to my right, and there's your team, literally, or excuse me, your team, like your brother's team right next to him.
Yeah.
And that's when like the dude from Galpin. And I looked over and I'm like, what are you doing here? Because I would do a lot of work with them. He's like, what are you doing here?
Steve McCord?
It's McCord. That's
oh,
right.
shit.
Yep.
I didn't know you know McCord.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So we chatted and caught up a bit, and was like, yeah. I'm like, well, I know them. He's like, well, I know them. And that was the year that the car ended up going to the wall, and you guys had to find Paul a new car because in that one, they bought Paul a car out of Canada. You grabbed Paul's car out of NorCal, brought it down, or Northern LA, brought it down, and Dave had it rewrapped in one night.
One night.
Wow.
I mean, it was
a great story.
crazy how that all came. Roger put a car into the wall Paul had the same exact car, but Paul was under contract to Fast and Furious, so he wasn't allowed. They wouldn't let him race, you know. So he was holding the car, getting ready to be at a race once the film was done. And Roger called him up and said, "Hey, I just put my car in the wall. I'm racing your car tomorrow." And Paul said, "That's fine. Just you got to find me a replacement car." And they did. I mean, literally like that. And I have pictures somewhere of the truck because I was the one that got JP Logistics.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
I remember at the
Throwback,
store to come pick up the car, get the wrecked one out of there, bring the new one down, wrap designed overnight. Cars
Overnight
wrapped.
wrap?
Yeah.
Cars wrapped overnight in the paddocks on track the next morning.
I remember walking into the paddock and like that crew was walking out and I saw Dave Green and he was like, he'd been up all night making sure that it was done.
I can't remember the name of the shop, man. They were right behind the AE shop up in Valencia. But yeah. I was part of the whole thing I was like a lot of the phone call guy. Like by then I started to know people, so I was able to make calls and like, hey, can you,
so impressive.
Can you wrap this car overnight? Cause we got to have it on track in the morning. And very cool, man. That was fun times. That was a lot of good memories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good memories of that time. And the year, it's interesting because you're a highlight part of the year after Roger and Paul died.
Yep.
Because
that's when I just began to know you guys.
Right. Yeah. Because that was a tough one, you know, especially my little brother. I mean, Roger was his best pal. I mean, that's why this still hangs on the wall right here. And that's Paul's race suit from Thunder Hill when my brother and Roger and them, you know, so that was a tough season because you had David Sturks that was now driving Roger's car. And David was a great driver, like rally and stuff. But man, every race, and I don't know if you remember our friend Mike Garcia, kind of buff guy. He was Roger's personal trainer and Paul's personal trainer at the time. Mike called my brother and he said, "I want to be at all the races. You don't have to pay me to be there. I don't know what I can do because I don't know anything about cars at all, but I just want to be there with you guys." So cool. Mike was the guy like in the RV making sandwiches for us and cleaning the mess and like just whatever needed to be done. You know Mike Garcia.
Yeah, always evolving.
Yeah, Mike was there doing all that stuff, but it was a super teary season, you know, because there was so many times I'd look over at my brother, you know, and I mean, you know what he's thinking about. He's like, he's missing his pal Roger, you know, and but like with all the sadness, there was so many great memories out of it. I even remember that same season. Remember how Al Jr. ended up? Did you meet Al Unser Jr. at all during that season?
Yep.
You know, he was out at a bunch of the races.
Yeah.
So it's so funny, man. Because I grew up watching that guy race.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you like talk about a legend, the Unser family.
Yeah.
So we had a really funny meeting. Me, my brother, Al Jr., and I can't remember who else was in it. We were in like one of the RVs because they were talking to Al about possibly getting involved with the team at some level. It's pretty hardcore. It was a fucking crazy meeting. But we walk out of the RV and I light a cigarette and Al Jr. looks around kind of. He doesn't want anyone to see. He's like, "Hey, can I get one of those?" Like, yeah, sure. And we kind of walk off somewhere where nobody's going to see Al Jr. smoking a cigarette. Sure enough, and we exchange numbers. I have fucking Al Jr.'s number still in my phone. And he shoots me like throughout the weekend. He keeps shooting me text messages. "Hey, meet under the tree for a smoke." I'm like, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
You don't even have your name saved. It's just like a cigarette emoji. Cigarette
yeah, the cigarette guy, you know. But throughout that whole season, like I kept fucking finding these like hidden spots, and me and Al Jr. would hang out all weekend long.
That's awesome.
See, Josh, another moral of the story. It doesn't hurt to carry a pack. You don't gotta
so crazy,
carry a pack
man.
and eat Rocky Mountain oysters, bro.
So more transition stuff, and I watch it with that word these days because like transition, you know.
I even think about that too. Okay, yeah.
See where Sean's mind's at? Fucking.
You know, well, there's certain words I watch, like, yeah. There we go. That's a better way. Like we watch it when, you know, with the manual thing, you know, you call it a transmission now, because if you call it a tranny, you might piss some people off.
Yeah.
We did buy tranny fluid today, though.
Yeah.
We were actually commenting on it too. We were like, is it coincidence that tranny fluid is like a pinkish red color?
You know, I've never even thought about it. That's a.
We thought about it today.
Anyway, moving on.
So then racing comes to an end for you,
So
at a certain level, right? Because the funding portion of it.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
it's an expensive.
When we were on the cheap, and we were doing what, like 900,000 a year, and that was on the cheap.
Yeah.
So, and it, you know, there's some frustration with it at the same time, because you're looking at like the BOP, the balance performance, and you're sitting. I remember when we helped develop like the Z28 with Chevy, and I remember my first race in that at Circuit of the Americas. My ride height of my car was higher than what you would get on a parking lot at a dealership. I mean, they were like scared of the carbon ceramic brakes. They were scared of the power, the 7.0 liter engine, which it was a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Love that
That's
car.
a great car. Yeah.
But you know, just the BOP on it, especially at the end of, I forget, it was the year before. I think it was the year before or that year. I remember, I don't know if you remember, at Miller, everybody kind of switched cars. Like Andy was driving a Lamborghini because he was going to the GT3.
Yep.
Tony Gables jumped in a Mustang, which pissed his whole Camaro people off on that Black Dog. He jumped in a Mustang to prove a point. I remember at the end of the straights, the Kia Optimas were 14 miles an hour faster than us.
Kia Optima.
And it's almost like
because of balance
DRS
of power, they're like, oh, well, you're going too fast. We're going to put a restrictor plate on your car. It's going to reduce the horsepower to X,
but they would, you know,
or we're going to add weight to your car.
But the time around the track was basically the same. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, like if you can, but I'm faster through the turns. They're faster on the straights, and it all equals out. No, it doesn't. What do you think you're going to pass on? The turns or the straights?
Exactly.
All you got to do is keep up with me a little bit, knowing that I've got limited horsepower on the straight.
And I walk you in the straight.
And then all I can do is move once to try to defend. You go around me the other way, and I'm sunk. I'm like, so there was that. There was funding at the same time. And it was also, I also what I call like a rich dad, poor dad, right? Poor dad, and it does nothing against him, but it was like, just for the analogy, Andy, phenomenal shoe. That guy was incredible. Rookie of the year his first year. He was coming out. He was winning races. He was podiuming.
Yeah.
But sadly, like, he doesn't come from money. Yeah. So to get that GT3 ride, even though he was putting down stellar lap times, he didn't bring a lot of sponsorship with him to there that he could.
Yeah.
And you know, no fault of his own, phenomenal driver. And that was then. Now he's even better than often he was. And then, for example, your brother, crushes life. And yet, what is he doing? Oh, he's doing Stadium Super Trucks. He's doing 12 hours of Bathurst. He's doing anything he wants.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, you can be as good. You can be. And Andy is a great driver.
Yeah.
And I mean, but he was beating Eric.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so you can be a great driver and not get a ride, or you can be a really good driver and drive whatever you want.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was like, there's something there. So rather than continue to put every single penny into racing, as I say, like, go create a lifestyle, meaning go create something, crush it like your brother does, or like, you know, like Nick Asayan did, like so many other guys on the grid did, and then racing will always be there, come back to racing. And so I've been fortunate where I've been able to keep 1 foot in, 1 foot out of that, because of the skills I've obtained, because of my background. That's how I was able to go be a high performance driver for Aston Martin North America,
which is one of the things I wanted to lead to, because that's a really cool thing that you do.
It's phenomenal.
Have you seen any of this stuff that he does with Aston?
On Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
So
kind of explain it a little bit, what you do with Aston to keep 1 foot in the game. So
I'm very fortunate at the time, back when Aston was based out of Irvine, California, and we were still building VH platforms at the time. My friend, our mutual friend, Stuart McIntosh, helped me. So he ran a dealership, Beverly Hills dealership, and Beverly Hills is great at doing all kinds of track days. And so when they do that, they'd be like, hey, we want a pro driver out there to help move people around, do that. So I would come out and I'd be the pro driver that would do lead follows, sit in the right car with people, help them do autocrosses or whatever, and lots of fun. But then Stuart actually eventually made his way to be the head of VP sales for Aston Martin North America. And when he arrived, he's like, hey, you need to use this guy. He's awesome. And for your events and stuff like that. So at the time, the female that was running the event side of the house is like, cool, we could use somebody like that. So then anytime there was a driving thing, I would get called up for it, and I would like, you available, and go flying to different states, go do test drives, go do ride and drives, go do track days, go do whatever it was. I was the guy they called, and it just became habitual. And very fortunate that when Aston Martin sponsored Red Bull with their F1 program, I ended up going out, and now I was going to F1 races and got to be a part of that. And at the beginning of it, like when the VIPs all came out, that's when I would help assist with the VIPs, help assist with the marketing. The UK side would run the whole program. I would just help from the North American side. And if they, set up the dinners, go to the events, all kinds of stuff like that. And eventually it led to being in the car, giving the hot laps during F1 programs.
Sure.
So I've done Mexico City, Montreal, Vegas. I was one of the first year of Vegas. I was done. The first year of Miami was there, and Austin, Circuit of the Americas. Sure. And so next thing I know, I'm sitting in this car and giving people skids around an F1 track and Aston Martin.
That's so sick.
How badass is that?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I also like doing all the other fun stuff, meeting the customers and all the building relationships and all that. But I got to be honest, man, that is the highlight of the year.
Totally.
Anytime those races come to Americas, because one, it is fantastic. I've done it for now 10 years, wow. And it's just phenomenal. The UK team that comes over, I call them my UK family, because it's not just the Aston Martin side. Yeah. It's the people that I still know over at Red Bull. It's the people that I still know from Pirelli. That it's like my UK family, and I love seeing them. And the times that I can't make it, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm missing out. And it's great to receive texts over what's like, where are you? How come you're not here? Oh, we miss you. Blah blah blah. And it's just a family reunion every time it happens. But let me tell you, man, I have done just shy of 180 in an Aston Martin DBX SUV going SUV down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Dang!
And let me tell you, that is awesome.
I remember you posting. I can't remember if you posted a clip or if you sent me. I can't remember which it was, but I remember seeing something with you doing that.
Yeah,
and the girl that's in the car is like loving it. She has no idea. Can we go faster or something? She says something like that.
Like, how fast we going? Or, it is so funny because just like, for example, out in Las Vegas, it's a concrete canyon. And there's film time. I remember they're like, well, how fast are we going? I'm like, I don't know. I'm looking at the track.
Yeah.
I'm like checking notes because I'm like looking for braking points.
Man.
I'm looking at my turning point. I'm looking at some stuff going on. The only time I really look at the gauge is on the Las Vegas straight, just because there's a marker which I hit the brakes at, depending on the car I'm in, because the SUV, you got to slow down that 6,000 pounds in enough time from doing shy of 180.
That's crazy
to make that left hand turn.
Crazy,
because the FIA and F1, like, they're looking at you at the same time, and they're like, if you do something wrong or do something similar, they'll call you out on it. And it's one of those things. You have everything to lose, but nothing to gain by doing something stupid on there.
Yeah,
and so that time when I hit the brakes, I remember glancing down just before I hit the brakes and saw high 170s on there. And I'm like, whoa.
In an SUV on an F1 track that just happens to also be Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like,
it was funny because you mentioned Alonso Jr. So the other guy I do this with, his name is Sergio Pena, talented shoe himself, young guy. He started his own driving school out in the East Coast, SP Racing, phenomenal kid. And he and I have done this, for years. We'd be back and forth. And one time we were at Circuit of the Americas, and he was in an SUV, I was in the F1 Vantage, and we would be released together to go do these hot laps. And so we're going around, and you have 697 brake horsepower in that SUV, and I've got 525 horsepower in the Vantage. And so we are just like nose to tail going up and around this thing to the point where the cameras pick us up, and now they're following us around.
How funny.
And you see Sergio showing, you see me cut him off, and it's almost like we're mock racing going through this thing. And it's so much fun going. Like the fans are cheering as we come by. It's got to be this big thing. And then we're sitting there at the very end of it. Cool. Emerson Fittipaldi comes up to us, So he's there with McLaren. He comes up to us and he's like, "That was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Good job, you guys."
Wow.
And we're like, "Thanks."
Yeah,
Like, Emerson Fittipaldi just come up and be like, "You guys are awesome." That was
Wow.
really cool.
Rock stars. Hell yeah.
Amazing, man.
But it's such a great opportunity. I mean, I got to meet Max, got to meet and know Daniel Ricciardo a touch. Hulkenberg, got to speak with Gasly. He's really cool. Just very lucky.
The
very
legends of
lucky
F1.
to speak to these guys and get to have the moments that I do.
Have you driven that Valkyrie?
No.
It looks like a crazy car.
Yeah, that
it?
is an absolute spaceship.
It's amazing. Can't believe it. It's road legal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Is that the one you let me sit in when I was
No.
with you at Monterey Car Week? What's the Aston where your legs sit way up like you're in a Formula One?
Valhalla was the one.
That's the one.
So that's like, that's coming out. That's what was RB003. Those are eventually coming out here. But yeah, the Valkyries are just finally starting to. I think they're mid process of actually hitting the market now, or getting to their owners. And the Valhalla's the next one out, and those things look beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just spaceships.
Aston
So
kills
cool.
it
They
on.
do. They're the best, dude.
They
Yeah.
kill it on.
Such a great
their,
brand.
Their
Yeah.
design is so. They've always made such beautiful cars. They
Elegant,
just
classy sports
like
car.
them, don't like
Exactly
them.
right.
They are beautiful, beautiful cars.
It's fascinating when people like freak out about Porsches, and Porsche's a great car,
Yeah.
great handling car, but they sell like 250,000 of them a year. Like how
And the prices are ridiculous
How
right now.
niche is that?
$800,000 for a GT3 without a wing. Call it an ST. It's
Ferrari now sells
$800,000.
over 10,000 cars a year. The most Aston Martin has ever sold in 1 year is 7,000.
no shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, like they are.
That's why you
People
don't see
forget about
that
them.
often.
They go by the Ferrari, the Porsche. They forget about Aston Martin.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And
I love how the RPM gauge goes the other way too. So sick. I love that.
it is by far my favorite brand. Not to, I mean, I think it's because in working with them, I got to know all the little idiosyncrasies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like what it takes to build it, the paint, just to paint that car,
Sure.
what they do for the paint, the leather that they get, the attention to detail throughout it all. And of course, they're hand built. Depending on the car, some are a little bit more. I say a little bit more hand built than others. I was still impressed with how hand built the SUVs are. Still,
Really?
yeah.
I wouldn't.
Even though they
I
got
would
a
figure
brand
it's
new tech
robotics
facility and all
going.
that. I mean, there's still a lot of hands on in that thing.
And they look good. I think they look better than the Urus or the Q8 or whatever the other SUVs are. The Aston Martin
Yeah.
looks good. The taillights in the back. It's slick.
Well, and their colors, like I always think about it because Strope, a buddy of ours, Steve Strope, real well-known custom car builder. Steve always picks these wonderful colors for his car, and when you ask him, 9 out of 10 times he's picking Aston
Martin,
colors.
yeah.
Yep. If you want to see and you want to see all the different colors, I think one of the best color displays of what Aston can provide, I haven't seen anywhere else, is down in Newport Beach on their wall, and it's like as long as that wall are 3 or 4 different rows of every single color you can get there. And it's just like the rainbow. It's like Crayola right in front of you.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And I remember walking in and seeing that. I'm like, that is a proper representation
Yeah.
of what Aston can provide.
Yeah, it's such a trip with you, Jeff. I mean, we definitely don't get enough time in. You live in Dallas, I live here, and you're all over the world all the time. But I love the I'm always inspired by people that have found ways to do things they love and make a living doing it. I'm grateful that I get to make a living doing stuff that I like. Man, I tell you, my worst shit that I ever deal with in my job is I do have to do my own books and I do have to do my own invoicing. That's the worst it gets. And that's like 20 minutes, here and there. That's all it is. But you've managed to, because you still do the Aston stuff, right?
So now it's more cars. Like I've done stuff for Ferrari, I've done stuff for Lamborghini, I've done stuff
didn't
for
know
McLaren.
that.
Yeah, I've always been contracted, but I did become known as like the Aston guy because they were hiring me so much, which I was very thankful for. But yeah, I mean, I do stuff for all different kinds of car companies.
So you're doing that. You also do, and if we have to edit this, we'll edit this out. But you work security stuff.
Yep.
Not like a movie theater security guy.
No,
but,
I wear a CSC event jacket. No. Got Securitas on my shoulder.
but
No.
I mean, like, because you seem to enjoy that as well, doing the.
Yeah, I do. The guy the company that I work with, I get contracted by a gentleman who's, I really appreciate his ethos in it. I really appreciate like how he runs his company.
Yeah.
And what we do. And yeah, I mean, we're going to the opposite side of the world for this kind of stuff that we do, which is fun.
Yeah.
Fun. There's countries that I don't know if I would have ever gone to recently. You know, eventually like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to go there one day. But,
Sure.
you know, I'm there now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for different reasons.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
And I gotta be honest, like some of the dudes that we actually do work with, I mean, the guys on my side we work with, great, and the clients, I respect them for what they do, and it's like, you know, you can learn something from
Sure.
them. Of course, I'm not sitting there buddy with them. No, that's not what we do.
Sure. No, I get
But-
that. Yeah. But are you now when you're doing that, is it all guys that are similar to your background, SEALs and other people that have like highly specialized training typically?
Of some kind. I won't say that they're SEALs, but of some kind.
Yeah. And then it's so funny because I love it. There's times I'll ask him like, you know, he'll say, I'm going to this country, I'm going to that country. And I've just quit asking you at this point, like, oh, so who are you?
Yeah, you'll never know that.
Who are you protecting? He'll never give that up.
Fuck it. Wouldn't you like to know Sean who I'm protecting?
And you know, it's funny.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I'll go and then I'll come back and then obviously I say, you know, the area that I was in, not necessarily, oh, we were like Europe,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh
or
yeah.
Asia
Yeah.
or South America.
So
So yeah, I won't, it'll usually be after the fact and I won't give you an exact.
Yeah. So I'm curious at this point too, after doing a couple of, we've done, is it 2 or we've done 3 Sturgis together
Sturgis.
now, right?
Yep.
And you still don't own a Harley.
I almost did this year.
You just rent one, bro. That's the best.
Well,
thing
that's
to do.
what he does each time.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny, right? So when I moved from the military up to LA, started doing that, I had crotch rockets. And that's what I grew up in college. My first bike was a Ninja ZX10 bored out to an 1100.
Yeah.
Sick.
I mean, the thing was stupid fast.
Yeah, totally.
And I remember the guy customized us. You can hit a switch on there and all the lights on the bike go dead. So if you need to, except for the headlights, so if you need to get away.
Bitchin'.
And I'm like, what do you want to, what's that for?
Yeah, right.
And then I had and when I was in the military, I then had a 929 RR, the 2001. I mean, that was an amazing bike and such a difference between the Ninja to the 929. And then I had a Gixxer 1000 and then an R1. And so that was, and then in the Gixxer and the R1, I got hit twice in LA.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I mean, one, I went over the lady pulled left in front of me, tagged the back end, went over the trunk, landed on my back right as I was pulling into my place over here in Studio City. And then the second one put me in the hospital.
Wow.
That one, I broke my arm was a different direction, filleted my leg open. That's an interesting story. So it was just a friend of mine was in town, girl was on we kind of dating, girl on the back of the bike, had just visited my commercial agent and then went over, deposited some money in the bank back before you could take pictures on your phone. And then was going down Ventura, going down street. And then right by the McDonald's by CBS or ABC over here. And then anyway, as I started going through, the light turned yellow, car turned left in front of me. And as I was coming through and, she didn't see me, tagged up, and I actually hit the front of that car. And I got up just enough where the girl on the back pushed me forward. She surfed my back, hit the windshield, rolled in the street. Thank God I tightened up her helmet before we got on. I then went through the front of the bike, and I think I got knocked out on the other side because I just remember wait for the washing machine to stop. And then I woke up and I remember I called her name and I looked over to try to find out where she was. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she was already on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And
so you were definitely out.
And I'm like, how did she get there so quick?
Yeah.
And then I tried to pick myself up and I couldn't.
Oh,
my leg felt weird and I couldn't push off the ground. And I'm like, what's going on with that? And I remember I turned and looked and my hand was looking at me, but part of my arm was still on the ground.
Oh,
And I'm like,
no.
oh, that's broken. And so then I went to go get up. And so as I was walking towards her, not smoothly, she looked at me on the ground and she thought, oh my God, he's dead. And then I'm like, start moving around, start to get up. And she's like, oh my God, he's not dead. He's going to die. My visor, my helmet popped off. The sunglasses caught the bridge of my nose. So blood's coming across my face. My arm has a new right angle in it, which wasn't supposed to be there. My jeans, as I went over, my shins gashed on the handlebars. So you see them squirting blood as I'm walking.
Oh,
so the front of my
God,
jeans are
dude.
getting soaked. And then as I went by the windshield, it caught into the thigh of my jeans, went into my skin and filleted that back. So now you can actually, as I'm walking towards her, you see my quadricep moving.
Oh,
in
God,
my leg.
Terminator shit,
man.
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Terminator.
And I come over and I lay down next to her and I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? And she's like, I think I broke a rib or hurt my back or something like that. And I'm like, son of a, and then, I'm like, something's wrong with my leg. And I can't, I'm trying to move. I'm like, something's up my leg. And to her credit, she looks over and she goes, you got a little scratch. And not want me to freak out about it, which I have no idea. I could barely move my neck and head. Nothing was wrong. I just like, you're all encumbered in a helmet and you're trying to like, something's not working.
Yeah.
So then McDonald's pours out and I'm like, help her. So they all go over. They're kind of like, okay. Like helping her, looking at me. And another wave comes out and helps me. And I remember this guy was standing up. I'm like, help her. And this dude standing over top of me goes, dude, she's fine. You're fucked up. I'm like, really? And then that's when I started learning about all the stuff.
How bad it was.
Yeah. So after that, long story short from the answer,
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm okay with motorcycles for a bit. I'm going to go to things with cages around me.
Yeah,
Hence getting into
smart.
racing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then honestly, like the first time I spent any kind of time on a Harley was our first Sturgis.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know if I wanted a road glide, street glide. Am I going to spend $30,000, $40,000 on something I may or may not like?
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, I do love the fact of I fly in, I grab a rental anywhere in the country,
it.
It's easy,
I drive
bro.
it, I drop it off, I'm done.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, I
everybody
get
else
it.
has to have to figure out logistics, shipping. If we
For
get
sure.
if we get caught in hail, I
And
got
you
the
lower the
insurance,
risk too.
I
If
don't
you
care.
Yeah.
For sure.
Meanwhile, everybody's like, oh, my paint, my bike, and all this.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want you to come join the club. That's all.
Oh,
I think we
well,
got to
We're
wrap
running
it
up
up
on
here.
like an hour 30.
Yeah, we should
in a
wrap it
little
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, it's so funny doing this with you, dude. There's just so much, I mean, as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking of how much history's been built over the years with us, and you don't think about it on a regular basis until you sit down and talk like this, and you realize, holy shit, there's a lot of years that have added up here quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's kind of cool to think, like, I was just thinking about it, like, to have met you when I was racing. Now I'm driving pace car for that series.
Yeah.
SRO.
Yeah.
SRO America. So that's, it's just neat how it all, and to be honest with you, the people that how the friendships that I've maintained and held onto and how much we still talk from racing.
Yeah.
Incredible. Would have never thought about it.
It's amazing.
It really is. I mean, talking about community.
Yeah, totally. Well, dude, thanks for, I mean, I know you're in town probably doing other things as well, but thanks for taking the time to come do this.
Absolutely.
I was so looking forward. You have so many amazing stories. We could do this for 20 hours.
This is one of my favorite podcasts for sure.
Yeah,
This one was,
I mean,
it was
seriously.
a good one.
But thanks for doing this, brother.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. And kudos to you for what you have done with this brand and the shop and everything. Like, massively proud of you for that.
Thank you, man.
Really, from nothing to the number of subscribers, your content you put out, it's impressive what you've done with this. So
Thanks.
Great job.
Thanks,
Navy
brother.
SEAL
Thank you.
approved, Sean.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. We're really doing it, Sean. Yeah. Really
Right
doing
on.
it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's impressive. It is. You've done amazing stuff with work with it. So
Thanks, dude.
Sweet.
Right on.
Thank you, brother. That was
I hope
awesome.
you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.